morning or good afternoon. It's 2:38 Central Standard Time. And I didn't put on my hat. I got a little hat here I was gonna put on for you guys. So let me put that on. Kind of fits in today's theme, because today we're gonna talk about my first job. Yeah. Talk about the first job that Wonder Chrissy had many moon ago. And it was a tough job. It was in the late 70s. I was a junior in high school, and I decided that I was going to give up basketball and football. I was playing football, like the B team. I was on the B team. I wasn't very good. But I decided that I needed to work because I wanted to go to college. So I needed to start saving up some money. And up until that point, I had cut grass. I did the normal cutting grass for the neighbors, and I made like a little business out of that. And shoveling snow in the winter, I'd have to get up 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, like 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 I'd get up, and because I had 3 driveways that I would shovel by hand. Maybe at one point I was able to use my parents' snowblower, but probably 7 or 8 years. I cut grass and shoveled snow as a kid. So in the late 70s, I got my first job. First real job, and I got a paycheck every couple of weeks. I think it was every 2 weeks we'd get a paycheck. And it was fun. I was making like $3.35 an hour. Can you imagine that? I mean, today people are making $9, $10, $15 an hour for... Now this first job was... in the restaurant, fast food kind of sector. My first job was working at Ponderosa. It was a steakhouse. It was like a fast food kind of, steakhouse. They had their big thing was they had big salad bar, all you could eat salad bar in the eating area. And you kind of go through the line. They had like these stockade lines, made you feel like cattle. Moo, moo. And you'd order your meal, and they give you a little tent number, those little plastic things that have your number on them. And then they would bring it out to you once it was cooked, and then while you were waiting, you could use a salad bar. They had an awesome salad bar. They had soup and salad and, a lot of fixings out there. So I think people come in just for the salad bar back then. I mean, it's hard to find a salad bar these days at a restaurant. So especially more so now with the virus going around. But back then they were popular. They were all over the place. And there was one just a few blocks from my house. I think my parents liked it because I didn't need a ride. And I didn't have to use the car. I could just walk to work. I was, 5 minutes away. So through a couple people's backyards, across the highway, and I was there at Ponderosa. So my first job at Ponderosa happened to be the lowest rung on the totem pole. So as here's McDonald's and Starbucks. This is where I started with my first job. I was I was a dishwasher. Believe it or not, my first job at Ponderosa was being a dishwasher. And it was basically you're in the back and they bring back the tubs of, the bus boys or whoever, the girls that were running the dining room. They would bring back the tubs and I would have to sort them out and throw away the scraps into a big garbage can, and we'd make these, big plastic trays with dishes. You had to line them up, the plates, and then the silverware you put on a separate one, glasses on a separate one, and as you filled up these plastic cubes or whatever, you push them through they had like about a 4-foot dishwasher that would basically shoot hot water and soap up at the dishes, and then they would go out the other end and they would be done. So that was my first job. My first job was a dishwasher. I mean, it was the lowest of the lowest jobs in the restaurant world is what I did. And the highlight of my day when I wasn't busy was the other task I had. I would have to take like 100-pound boxes of Idaho potatoes and dump them into a metal sink, fill the sink up and the potatoes with water, let them soak for 20 minutes, and then I would have to go through and wrap every potato in foil and put it on this metal rack. So we'd make this metal rack, would have maybe like 50 potatoes, baked potatoes, wrapped in foil individually. And then we had two of these big ovens that were run by natural gas and forced air, and you could put like about 4 racks of baked potatoes in there, and in like 25-30 minutes it would cook those potatoes. And those were the baked potatoes that you got when you ordered your steak or your sandwich, and that's what I did. Now, the good thing about this was I started at the good time, because shortly after once I started working at Ponderosa, within 2 weeks, one of the grill cooks quit. And that's like the highest job ranking that they had was working the grill. And this guy had been there several years, and he was the top-notch grill cook, and he had a falling out with one of the managers, and he decided to quit. So, as luck would have it, they had to move. So the other positions they had like senior grill cook, then they had a junior grill cook. So, if you were a senior grill cook, you always had to work like the busy times where there was lots of people, like Friday nights and Sunday afternoons when it was really busy, because you had to keep track of all the steaks. Make sure they got cooked right. You never wanted to overcook a steak. You always wanted to undercook a steak, because if it wasn't right or done particularly to the person's liking, you could always cook it a little more. But if it was overdone, you'd have to throw it away and start all over again. So you had the senior and junior grill chef. And then the next level down is what they call the fry cook. And the fry cook was in charge of putting the French fries down, making sure they had enough French fries for like the hamburgers or the shrimp dinners. Or if they ordered the shrimp dinner, you had to put the shrimp down at the right time. because sometimes they had steak and shrimp. So people would get a steak and shrimp, so you had to make sure they were done around the same time and they weren't sitting there getting cold. And then the fry cook was also in charge of getting the bun, the hamburger setups ready for the grill chef. So when they were done with the hamburgers, he could just put them on the bun and off they went to the dining room. They got delivered to the people that ordered them. So 2 weeks into this first job as a dishwasher, and I didn't know any better. I was, first 2 weeks I got a paycheck. I was happy. I was making money for washing dishes. I'd go in, put my hours in, and go home, and off we went. So at that point, I wasn't tired of washing dishes. But so 2 weeks in, I show up for work one day, and the manager says, no, you're not washing dishes today. We need you to be a fry cook. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I just got a promotion. 2 weeks into this job, and now I'm a fry cook. I am a fry cook. Oh, wow. So, but lo and behold, that day they hadn't hired a new dishwasher. So I learned how to be a fry cook. And at the same time, once the night was done, there was loads and loads of bus tubs waiting in the back for me. I had to do the dishes, and I think maybe the manager or somebody helped me out, and we got the dishes done and then caught up. But so that was my first 2 weeks. So now I'm working at Ponderosa, and I'm a mover and a shaker. I am a fry cook. So I can't remember how long it was before I was cooking or being the grill master or the grill chef, and that was fun. I enjoyed that, and I use those skills today in my backyard. Cooking on my Weber grill. I learned a lot about cooking steaks and burgers and how to get those sear marks just right, and making sure that you don't, if you flip it too many times, it makes the meat tough. So their process was you put it down, get a nice sear going, turn it over, get another sear, and then go 90 degrees and get the crosshatch on it, and then the final turn and let it sit for another couple of minutes so you got the waffle sear marks on both sides, and you should be done. And the way the grill was set up, they had this big, huge, it must have been like 12 foot wide by 3.5 feet deep, and it was angled up. The grates were heavy cast iron grates, and they kind of angled up, so the heat got hotter the higher you went. So if you're trying to cook a medium rare steak or whatever, you always did that on the bottom or closest to you, and if it was medium, it would go in the middle of the grates, and then well done was up on the top. So that's how you manage the grill. And some days, you had to respect the senior grill chefs, because there'd be Friday night, Saturday night, you had that whole grill just loaded with meat. We're talking, like I said, 12 feet by 3.5 feet, and there would be like 60, 75 steaks. And then you just had this plexiglass thing in front of you where you had all the orders and pieces of paper. Back then they didn't have computer screens. They just had pieces of paper, like little cash register receipts, and you would put them across the top as you put the meat on. And as it went across, it was the stuff that was the oldest was on the far right. So you kept track of what was getting ready to go off, what was new on the grill. So on the busy days, you'd have two guys working the grill. You would have you know, the senior and the junior guy. The junior guy just pretty basically would put the stuff on the grill for the senior chef, and the senior chef would kind of manage it and make sure that it was getting cooked at the right doneness and getting it off the grill and in the order that they went on. So you didn't like try to put people up, you know, ahead of other people, because you wanted them to get out into the dining room and have their salad bar for 5-10 minutes, and then you know the meal would show up. So that's kind of how they did it. So that's what I did for a couple of years, I think. Maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. I was, at the very end, I was a senior grill chef, and I was rocking and rolling. I would cook those steaks like you would not believe. But the bad part of the job, I mean, every job's got a bad part, right? We all know it. We all know that there's not a perfect job out there, and this job is not perfect. So the hard part about this job, or the part that sucked, was closing. Just like any food restaurant, the closers, that's where all the work is at, because you gotta clean up after the day, right? You gotta sweep the floors, you gotta mop the floors, and one task that they had that was just unbelievable. I can't imagine them actually doing it in today's day and age. I can't believe you would find a kid willing to do what I did back then. So what we had to do at the end of the day, so we had, like I said, we had this big grill, and above the grill was, you know, those restaurant vents, those exhaust vents that would suck out all the smoke, and you know, it had the fire suppressors in it in case you had a grease fire or anything like that. And it had this trough that went all the way around the vent. So you had like 12 feet by 3.5 feet by 12 feet. And at the end of the day, you had to go in the back and get a bucket of hot water and a rag. And you had to go and clean out those troughs. There was like it was grease at that point. I mean, it was semi-hardening grease. So it was kind of like, you know, bacon grease at that point, semi-liquid bacon grease. And you would have to get up there with a rag and clean out that grease, put it into the bucket, and rinse out your towel and go back up there and just go all the way around until that whole trough was empty. Because for whatever reason, it wasn't like they had a collection bucket or something where all this grease, that would make too much sense. That would flow into a bucket. You just clean the bucket at the end of the night. That would make it easy. No, they had this, you had to clean the whole trough. So 12 feet by 12 feet by 7 feet. So that's 24 by 7, 31 feet of trough that you had to clean with a wet rag and get the grease out of there and go into the bucket. And then when the bucket of water got real nasty, you had to go dump it and clean it out and get another clean bucket. It usually take like 3 or 4 buckets of water on a busy night to get that trough clean at the end of the day. So that was the worst job there, or worst task of working at Ponderosa. And I think we must have got some type of discount, but I don't remember eating there that often. For some reason, when I was a young kid, for whatever reason, I don't think I had a desire to eat there that much, because I don't remember going early to work and having dinner and, you know, working or staying late to have dinner or what have you. Yeah, I just show up to work, do my job, and go home. So that was my first job, and in reality, my first promotion after 2 weeks to fry cook. And from there, it's kind of just history. So I use those, as I said, I use those skills today. I mean, I enjoy cooking on the grill outside, and I have a smoker. I enjoy smoking meat and chicken and stuff. And if you've seen, I got a turkey cooking video out there. So I enjoy cooking the meat, and I think it can be kind of traced back to Ponderosa. And it's kind of sad, although they had, you know, what the other thing that excuse me, that I liked was they always had good pies. That's the other thing they had. They had like dessert there. They had all the apple and cherry pies, and then the coconut and the banana cream and the chocolate cream. That was probably the best thing I liked about Ponderosa, was their coconut cream pie. Oh boy, that was good. I enjoyed that, and I still, to this day, I enjoy a good coconut cream pie. Whether it's like Baker Square's got the best pie, but there's not too many Baker Squares around anymore, and it's kind of a shame. But yeah, there's fewer Ponderosas. So here in Illinois, I did a quick search. I think Michigan probably has several Ponderosas still intact, and there's probably about 300, 350 worldwide or USA wide still. But none, I think there's like way south Illinois, there might be one, but the closest one is probably Michigan. So yeah, I haven't been to a Ponderosa in many years, and I mean, there was several of them around here in Illinois back in the 80s, but they're all closed now and turned into something else. The one that I worked at, they actually tore it down, and it's O'Reilly's auto parts store now. So no more Ponderosa. No more Ponderosa. So so that's the tale of my first job. So go ahead and comment below about your first job. I'd love to hear what you guys did in high school when you got the quote unquote real job that actually required you to show up and get a paycheck at every other week or whatever. So put that below in the comments, and we'll share that with everyone. We are Land Cruiser Midwest, and we are an up-and-coming YouTube channel, and today is Podmas number 9. Let me change the camera so you can see that. Number 9. Podmas day number 9. I hope you're having a good holiday, and to my Jewish friends, a happy Hanukkah, maybe like day 3 now of Hanukkah. So that's a festival of lights or candles or something like that. So they're on day 3, and I think they go for another week maybe. So happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to all you viewers out there. And today you can see I got my Hooters shirt on. Yeah, I've got a couple of these. And it's got the Christmas red. You can believe that. We got the Christmas red. And I got my construction hat because I know we were going to talk about working. Yeah, back in the day, man, working at Ponderosa, that was hard work. Cutting grass, shoveling snow. I worked hard for very little money. And yeah, I think the Ponderosa career came to an end when my mother got me a job working at a local pharmacy, and being the delivery boy. So it was more of a consistent job. I think I worked every day, like 3 or 4 hours, and Saturday. And I would show up, empty the garbages, run any errands that they had, and do deliveries out in the car, and deliver to some clients and customers. And that was a good job. I did that for 3 years, and in combination with that, I also one of my grass cutting clients had gotten me a job on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. So in combination with delivering drugs, as I would call it, I used to wash bread trucks for Sunbeam. We had like a distribution depot in my hometown for Sunbeam bread, and they had trucks that would come in from Springfield and Rockford, big semis, and they would deliver the bread, just big dollies stacked like 8 feet tall, and 2 stacks on a dolly, and they would bring those in every other night or every night, depending on the schedule. And then they had like about 10 or 12 bread trucks that would run the various routes in the area. So once a week, I would have to check all the oil in the trucks and fill them up if they needed oil, and then we would wash them inside and out in this garage. And basically, it had a hose with a big brush on it, and just wash away. I bet you today they probably got some type of mechanical contraption. You just kind of drive them through. But back then, I'd have to like pull one out into the area where they had the grate for the water to go down, and get a bucket with suds, and that's how we did it. So I did that for 2 or 3 years, along with delivering drugs. So I was a druggie at some point. Hate to tell you, but that's what I was, delivering drugs. I had a life of drugs at one point when I was young. So there you have it. The jobs of Wonder Chrissy. I hope you enjoyed the story time today. Yeah, where are we at? We are, like I said, we are Land Cruiser. Oh, we're at 26 minutes. We're almost at our 30-minute mark. We are Land Cruiser Midwest. So go ahead and should be able to type this in down in your search bar. Right there, Land Cruiser Midwest in the YouTube search bar, and we will show up. I was just checking today. If you type in Land Cruiser Midwest, you will get a plethora of videos from our channel, live stream, and the edited weekly videos that we do. So this weekend we just released a tribute to Andy Williams, Mr. Christmas, and that's out there. So give that a look, and then let's do a cameo here. I gotta see if we can do a there's Allie Sherlock. Hey, Allie, thank you for the cameo. So we got Allie doing a cameo again today. We thank her for her cameo appearance here on Land Cruiser Midwest. For all you guys looking for Allie on my videos, there she is. There she is. That is Allie, and she is making her cameo, and off she goes. There she goes. So there you go. we're not lying. She made a cameo appearance today here on our Podmas number 9. So, kudos to Allie. Boy, she's making some good music out there. I hope you guys enjoy her videos, and every once in a while she makes a little cameo here. So we're coming to a close, and you guys know how, if you've watched before, you know how we do it. We do the 1, 2, 3 click and we stop. So I am going to proceed with that right now since we are done for today. And come back tomorrow for Podmas number 10. 10, that's this many for all you guys. Can you see on my hand? There you go, that many. So now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, click. And we are